Bare Element, Episode 12, recorded 24 October 2012.
Well, hello.
Hello. Tim, you're so professional. You did the 3, 2, and then nothing to get us started. That was awesome.
Well, this is Clay. Hello again.
And this is Vito.
And this is Tim.
And who else do we have at the table?
This is Brandon.
Hello, Brandon.
Hello.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Our listeners will be scratching their heads. We haven't heard from Brandon before.
Yeah, he's super secret.
Yeah, we had a little technical issue the last time Brandon was here.
Secret squirrel.
Whoops.
Yeah. Actually, Brandon was our first guest that we had, and just the recording quality of it was so horrible, we didn't want to put it out.
Yeah.
So
we have standards.
So he's a good sport, and he came back. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for inviting me back.
And speaking of standards, guess what those led us to? Drum roll.
What?
You're supposed to announce this in the intro.
Oh, yes. I guess I will. So before we get into Brandon...
Did the bell ring?
What's
going on?
Good for. That we've been nominated for a Best of the Bears by thecompletebear.com. So we've been nominated. They're accepting nominations until November 15th, and then voting is open from the 16th of November through the end of December. So when that's up and live, we'll remind everybody and going to ask everybody to get out and vote for us.
Yay, best podcast. And best website, too. Oh, and Scarlett's here.
And Scarlett encourages you to vote as well.
Yay.
Hey, Scarlett. Okay, thank you.
That's awesome. So, Mr. Brandon.
Yes.
What's this? Are you an esthetician?
I am a medical esthetician.
Medical. Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't just do facials and waxing. I do advanced skincare stuff. I do microdermabrasion, chemical peels, in addition to more of the waxing and facials. And I deal a lot with acne, adult acne, juvenile acne.
A lot of people would ask, what are you doing on the Bare Element podcast?
Well, you guys invited me on, and I'm a good friend of Mike Enders, and I think that he's a big bear guy as well. And I see a lot of bears in this room, and and in my practice as well. I have a lot of bears that come in, not necessarily to get chests and backs and legs waxed, but to get their noses and ears waxed.
Which is what I do with you.
Yeah. A lot of guys, they love being hairy and they like all that comes with it, but they don't necessarily want to have, chia pets growing out of their ears and noses. And that's it's a quick and easy thing. I mean, you can attest you're in and out in probably 15 minutes, and you look.
Gee, guys, why did everybody look at me when he said that?
Well, you know what? I don't know what it is, but this is Vito. It's just one of my pet peeves: nose hairs. And now ear hairs a little bit, but the big one is nose hairs.
And it's super easy to control. And it doesn't hurt anywhere near what people think it is. I have lots of people who come in all the time. They're like, every time I pluck a nose hair, it makes my eyes water.
Oh, it hurts like hell if you do it on your own.
But I don't know what it is about plucking 40 of them at the same time. It doesn't hurt. It's.
I'd imagine it has a lot to do like getting a tattoo. Because if you just have somebody jam a needle into your arm, it hurts like hell. But if you have a tattoo gun going, it's...
Well, he has a tattoo also, so maybe you could attest to that.
Well, one of the things that I do, too, is I have people cough right when I do the pull. And that seems to kind of confuse the brain just enough to really kind of make that pain get kind of lost.
And then for special people, you grab their testicles at the same time.
Well, that's where I'm confused because he's wearing gloves and he's talking about coughing.
I'm like, he put these gloves on, but I'm like, oh my God.
Well, when Scarlett and I got here, Vito was in his underwear, so
hey,
I'm totally confused now.
I get hot.
Well, because you guys have asked me to come on and wax more than one person, I thought I would use my sterile gloves.
Oh, there you go.
Make sure I don't transmit anything from one person to the next.
So, yes, I've had it done before.
Into this. I was not told that we'd be waxing before I arrived.
Vito's like, I didn't mention that.
I conveniently forgot. Tim and Clay have never had this procedure done before.
The bikini wax?
So you're going to get...
What you're talking about?
Yes, they're doing the bikini wax. They're going to get it done, and you guys are going to hear it happen and their reaction.
Live on the podcast.
I can hardly wait.
Tape delayed.
Well, let's talk more about what you do. I love your little office.
Thanks.
And you say that a high percentage of your clients are actually straight, and their girlfriends have them do services, right?
Yeah, I would say...
Services sound so trashy.
Yeah. I would say 60% of my clientele is straight guys.
Uh-huh.
And I'm in the financial district of San Francisco, so I deal with a lot of businessmen, a lot of attorneys, a lot of architects, a lot of bankers, a lot of realtors. Just found that's I think it's a word of mouth thing, like sitting in the pub, having a couple of beers, and straight guys start talking about sex and blowjobs and all that stuff, and one thing leads to the next. Because I have most of the clients that I have that come in are referrals from other people.
Well, I have to imagine the rise of HD photography. A lot of people do advertisements. They have their picture on websites and on billboards or bus stops and everything. And if you got some problems, HG just makes them a lot bigger and a lot clearer.
Well, one of the things I was leading into is I do a lot of waxing of male genitals, mostly straight guys.
I was going to ask you about that.
They want their girlfriends really want them to be groomed down there if they're going to spend any time down there. So, and the women are doing it and have been doing it for years and years and years. And I think it's now coming to the point to where that they want their men to be not necessarily looking like 14-year-old boys, but they want it to be at least controlled down there, controlled chaos.
So how many non-sexual testicles have you touched?
In my business?
Yeah.
Well, I don't sexually touch testicles in
That's
my
what I
in my
said,
business.
non-sexual.
Yeah. Oh,
just
God.
Prefacing it.
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen the entire gamut of all that is the testicle world.
How often is it that you just are thinking to yourself, like, damn, I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry you got stuck with that thing.
There are guys that come in that I have to kind of look around for what we're going to be waxing. One of the things that I do, because you have to keep in mind when you shave your face, typically the best thing to do when you shave your face is to warm things
Right.
out.
It needs to...
So I will put like a warm towel down there to kind of relax things and get them prepared and ready for waxing. And so that tends to kind of reveal a little bit more. A lot of guys come in with the real big fear that they're going to get excited, and then they realize that we're waxing down there, and it's really not an exciting feeling, and so that's really not much of a worry.
Didn't you tell me a story last time I went that something about you went down there and you did like a test, and the guy's like, "Oh no."
Yeah. Well, I had a guy come in who was leaving on his. This was on like a Monday or Tuesday. He was getting married on Saturday, and they were leaving on Sunday to go to like Barbados or Bermuda or somewhere like that, and he wanted to surprise his future wife with being completely waxed down there. And I kind of asked him, have you been waxed before? And, no, I haven't. Okay, well, it hurts a little bit. There's a little bit of a no, it's fine. I have a really high pain tolerance. And I'm like, okay, well why don't we do this? We'll do one pull on your scrotal area, and then if you don't like it, we can wax it. And he's like, okay, great. So we got him all prepared and got everything situated, and I put the wax on, and I took it off, and he goes, yeah, we'll just shaving is fine. We'll just shave it. Shaving is good. Shaving is fine.
So I'm just imagining you like there's the scrotum and the skin, and you like stretch it and shave it and move it around and just do little bits.
It's like trying to shave a chicken skin.
Yeah.
It's like, it really is. I mean, the scrotum is horrifying to work with. It's just ridiculous. So. Waxing women is so much easier.
Oh,
because it's all flat planes.
Do you notice this? Because I went to a straight nudist resort years ago, and this is Vito, and I noticed that the women had like a strip through their hoo-ha-ha.
The landing strip.
Their hoo-ha, like a landing strip.
Yeah.
And the men just shaved everything.
Yeah.
Is that common with the straight people?
I don't do female waxing.
Okay.
At all, because there are so many places that do, and I tend to just focus on men and male skincare. Mm-hmm. But every man has a different way of wanting to do it. It's interesting. The younger the guy is, the more hair they want gone. The older a guy is, the more they tend to want it just kind of groomed and and controlled. But younger guys want everything gone. They want the entire Brazilian.
It just doesn't work for me.
Me either.
What's the most bizarre request that you've had?
Anal bleaching.
I was going to ask about that. Do you do that?
Yeah.
I asked him about that.
Why?
Because guys, this is only gay guys too. Only gay guys
really
want their anal areas to be.
Well, there's not too many straight guys that are worried about what somebody's going to be doing back there to look at anyway.
There are a lot of straight guys. When I bring it up, want to have that area done and like it because it's cleaner. It's just it's. I don't know how intense we can get with this.
We have an explicit tag.
You're talking about the waxing makes it cleaner, but the bleaching.
But the bleaching,
just changes the color. What it does is it kind of anesthetizes the melanocytes in the skin that are there. You have these little cells called melanocytes that are just above your melanin, and what those things do is they change color very easily, especially in areas that have been I hate to use the word, but wounded, like areas that are very kind of vigorously used. And they change color. They darken. And you can use, I have a bleach that I sell to the client. I don't necessarily, I'll put it on for them and show them how to do it, but then they have to take it home and do it themselves.
It's like a kit, right?
Just one thing. It's just one little vial. But they use it every night.
Right?
And as the skin, because our skin, every 27 days, our skin completely sloughs off. You have 5 layers to your skin, and the first layer comes all the way through those layers and comes off in the 27 days. And so after about 27, 45 days, you'll see changes in the color and tone and texture down there.
What about a Crest White Strip? Could you use that?
That's actually what it is. So.
No, now we're going to people.
No, I'm kidding. Don't do it.
My Crest White Strips taste funny. Oh, honey, I had to borrow them.
Right to clay@thebareelement.com. I bleached my anus using white strips, Crest White Strips, and now I'm
So apparently Vito failed to mention to Tim and I that we were going to be your test guinea pigs today, and I'm sure Vito's probably going to get out his camera, so... I guess it's time. Let's jump in.
Okay, I'm going portable.
10 minutes
and I'm going to hold the microphone up for Brandon, and he can explain what he's doing.
So what we're going to do is we're going to wax their noses. And
okay.
It's very easy. It's going to be great. You're going to love it.
So when you hear the blood-curdling screams... Well, like I said, I really don't want anything else waxed, but my nose and my ears, I think it's really cool. So,
all right. Well, it's
that
time.
Apparently, I am that gay.
Everybody here, a little bit gay.
You are the gay.
Okay. So I'm actually going to... No, I've have you... Okay, now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Testing.
Vito's gone mobile.
I've gone mobile. This is crazy. Okay, so what we have over here is we have a thermostat called the wax and 2 little vials with a green substance. What is this?
This is a hard wax. It doesn't require any kind of strip, and so we're going to use these popsicle sticks, these specially made popsicle sticks, to put the wax on, and then we're going to affix it to their nose hairs and let it dry.
No anal bleaching.
And
no anal bleaching for the boys, please.
And we're going to take it out. So first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to put some antiseptic in their nose to make sure they don't get any ingrown hairs or any bacteria in their nose.
All right, so guys, explain what you're feeling when he's putting these...
I'm actually going to record this. Okay, so...
Oh, yes, video for the website. Fantastic.
Great.
So he just put in an antiseptic in his
nostrils. That feels good.
Does it sting at all? What does it feel like?
It's like rubbing alcohol.
Okay. All right, now he's going over to clay.
I have to tilt my head back.
Brandon, is that anything different than rubbing alcohol?
Nope.
Okay.
It's just rubbing
just rubbing alcohol.
Okay. Oh, my God.
And
that done
actually,
before.
I don't know what a person would charge in your area, but Brandon charges 20 or 25. 25.
For a nose?
For nose and ears at the same time.
Come in and drop Bare Element Podcast and say that they're coming in off of Bare Element Podcast. I will give them a 10% discount.
That's great. Well, I'll have the links on the website.
Did you hear that? 10% discount for
Okay,
Bare
so
Elements
Tim, his head is
Podcast.
being put
Oh, God,
back.
I have to watch Tim do it?
Oh, my goodness. So he just put Is it a little hot?
It's just poking.
He put the wax with the stick in Tim's right nostril.
Oh, God.
And before we even started, Brandon put some oil on Tim's mustache, so just in case some got on there that it would slip right off.
Oh, that's a good look.
It's a good look. Oh, let me get my phone and take some pictures here.
I'm doing video. This will end up on the website.
Right, well, I want some stills, too.
I like the stick hanging out your nose. That's good.
The things I do for our listeners.
Yes.
No, Mommy, no.
You're going to be a believer after this. And if you'd like, I'll squeeze your testicle.
Thanks. I've got Vito taking photos of me.
There you go. All right, now it's Clay's turn. And Brandon is twisting.
Pokey in the back.
Normally he's in front of you.
I
so
feel your
think
pain,
that's
Clay.
Part of the issue. It's a kind of a weird angle. Okay. So
I don't know what big nostriled guys you're used to poking, boy, but...
Here, Clay, let's take a picture of you.
Well, hello.
Awesome. Wolfie, you see what you're missing? We forgot to tell you that Wolfie is hurt his leg again.
Yeah.
He hurt his leg again. I think he's just afraid of being waxed.
Could be very much.
You're going to let me know
so
before you pull anything, right? Okay.
So what we're going to do, let me tell you what we're going to do is we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to cough, a really nice, robust cough. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
And you may, sometimes I pinch myself, but it happens so fast that you don't even...
Okay, so we're going?
Okay. I'm out of here. Goodbye.
Wait, we need a close-up of this here. See all the stuff that he got out of it.
Do you need
I need to focus.
this to mop up the blood or anything?
There's no blood. There's no bleeding.
Oh, the humanity.
There's no blood. It's relatively plain. So tell me what it feels like, Tim.
No, don't do that.
What?
Stick your finger up there. Leave your finger out of there.
Oh, we're doing the other one?
It's raw. You don't want to get nasty things on your fingers inside your raw nose. So now Tim's doing the other side.
So what's all in this wax?
What I do for...
This is a Baron's wax. It is not a resin. Normally it's a resin, so this has got emollients and kind of a fake wax to it. But it's actually really good for your skin.
Okay, Clay's doing his first time.
So let's see.
We're going to do 1, 2, 3. I want a big cough.
Big cough, Clay.
Big cough?
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Let's see the nastiness that came out of your nose, Clay.
Let's see. Look at all that.
Nastiness.
Oh.
Lollipop, lollipop.
Looking across, I can see all the hair on Clay's popsicle stick from across the table.
Disgusting.
Lollipop, lollipop.
That's really bad. The boys are having fun.
Oh, God.
Oh, don't even put it in your mouth, Clay. That's
He's
gross.
feigning putting it in his mouth. It's rather gross.
I want to take mine home.
Take them home. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, the sticks with the nose on it? I mean, the sticks with the hairs on them?
You can.
Wow. That's gross. Okay. Let's see here.
Yeah, that's less pokey when you do it straight on.
Yeah. It's normally not pokey at all. So Clay's doing his second one right now. Let's take another picture.
I'm wondering how much we're going to end up editing this down.
And I can assure you, listeners, that if this had been a gruesome event, Scarlett would be over here chewing on Brandon's leg right now.
Okay, so...
Oh, because she would protect you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How did I do last time?
You
with
did
that?
good. 1, 2, 3.
You could say fuck. It's totally worth it. Now at work, you don't have to worry about nose hairs.
6 weeks.
6 weeks?
That's hysterical.
Close you up, make sure you don't get anything in your nose.
Yeah, don't stick your fingers in your nose. That's not sanitary. That area is totally raw.
Wow.
What am I going to eat if I can't stick my finger in my nose, right?
Look at that thing. Look at it. So we got a double pair here. Oh, that is incredible.
Oh, Bill's going to be so proud of you.
Oh, it burns! It burns! It burns!
You wimp. Big wimp.
Oh.
Wolfie, you're missing out.
This is Scarlett's payback for when she got the pine sap in her fur and I had to put it out with the dog wash.
So.
Poor doggy.
But okay, you don't have to worry about scissors now. You don't have to worry about.
And you're completely clean for 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
So you go back. So yeah.
I'm a lucky man.
If you guys, they did great. They were fantastic. I have guys that literally scream like little tiny girls.
Video's
so
turning off.
They did fantastic.
Alrighty.
And if they come into the studio, I can do their ears too.
Okay, we'll just do the nose for now.
Yay.
Well, guys, just go ahead and talk for a few minutes about.
So,
your
Brennan,
experience.
do you do this to yourself? That was very
Let me
loud.
get my headphones back on. I do it to myself. It's very hard to do to yourself because part of it is really not knowing kind of what's going to happen and what's going on. And it's just when you do it to yourself, it hurts a lot more. But yeah, I do it to myself.
Kind of like getting an adjustment or something like that.
Yeah. But you both survived and you both look great.
Wow.
Yes, you both survived. So,
My nose feels like it wants to run, but it's not actually running. It's just it's like
Yeah.
It's amazing sometimes when you see how much hair comes out of a guy's
it's incredible
nose. It's
what you
really
guys had up
incredible.
there. Now
So-
you're clean as a whistle. You don't have to worry about it at work. A hair sticking out in your meetings in your new gig, Tim.
Gee, thanks.
So yeah, and so if folks
And
come
I
in
guess
off of the podcast and let me know that they're coming in from the podcast, we'll give them 10% off. So it would be
Absolutely.
like $20 instead of 25.
You're directly across the street from the Transamerica building.
Yes, I am. So
That's
it's
awesome.
directly across. Yeah, it's 360skin.com. And people can go on to Facebook and find me at facebook.com/360skin. And I'm on Twitter at twitter.com/360skin. So,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put all that on the website for you.
yeah, I'm all over the place.
Well,
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome. I really didn't have too much apprehension until I should have gone first because watching you do it to Tim, I was like, I'm out of here. Bye. I got this thing. It's the World Series. Got to go. Scarlett needs to pee. I had a list of excuses, but you got me, so it's good.
Good. All right.
Well, luckily, you already had the thing up your nose when he pulled mine, so.
There was no going back then.
You were in.
No, I was ready to go when he was stick it in the first time. So, stick it in Tim the first time.
It was
I should
just
say.
the tip.
Well, and the
So
ears
you gotta-
hurt a lot less, even though the ears hurt a lot less, I think, than
Oh, okay.
the nose for sure.
Cool.
But
Oh, cool.
Well, the ears are nothing at all compared to the nose.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. Ish. So our first topic tonight, now that Brandon's here, will be. You decided we're going to talk about all the announcements from Apple. And what did you have an iPhone and you just asked Siri a question while we were getting ready. What was that?
Oh, that's my phone.
Well, that's yours. I had asked what the score of the World Series was, and I didn't know that I could do it. I thought I would just try it. We were walking over here, and I said, Siri, what's the score of the World Series? And she goes, the Giants are up 4-2-0.
Yeah, I
So
had
it's kinda
someone demonstrate to me Siri the other day, and I really like it. I don't have it. I have a 4, so I don't have Siri. But and I'm considering getting a 5. It's just so much money.
I have the 4S, so I don't have the 5 yet. But
It's not the amount of the phone. It's being committed for 2 years,
Yeah.
and then it's the
Is it a
at least
two-year
$100. At least $100 a month because I got my phone down to $45 a month.
Oh, right, because you're doing that Walmart
The straight
phone
talk
thing.
and.
But you also have an iPad. I see you with an iPad there, so you can pretty much get all that stuff on your iPad anyway. So
Right, but
that
then I love
that iPad is so big.
it's so big, and it's actually on eBay right now as we speak
Oh.
because I want to get either an Android phone and get the Nexus 7, or I'm going to sell this and do the 5 and an iPad Mini.
And if anybody's been debating whether or not to buy the iPad, I'll throw in both my nose hair sticks.
You want to do a contest?
Yes, Clay will be auctioning off his nose hair on popsicle sticks.
You could be cloned from those. Those have got your actual DNA in them.
Isn't that great?
Oh, it's just not right.
This isn't.
I'm sure there's some of our listeners out there that would love a clone of Clay.
This is as impressive as when you do those nose things and you get the petrified.
Oh, the Biore. Yeah.
That's hysterical. So,
That was in my nose.
so is anybody going to run out and buy the iPad Mini?
I haven't decided yet.
Probably not. I mean, I've got my iPad 2 that seems to be doing well for me. I don't see why I need to get something smaller at this point.
And then I just saw an ad. Google, they have a new Chrome notebook computer for $250, and it's like real high, real sturdy. Oh, there we go. I was a little bit off. It's supposed to be a real sturdy platform. So, they're talking about the death of the PC, and notebook sales are flat. So, it's interesting to see where the different companies are.
So
going.
is it Android running on a laptop?
Yeah, it's I assume so. They call it the Google Chrome notebook, and it's $250.
That must be what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another version of Android. There's 20 billion versions.
I've been happy with my Android phone. I switched over from the iPhone about a little over a year ago, and I've been, it took me 7 months to figure out where the buttons were, because my fingers after 2 years on the iPhone, my fingers were used to all that. So, but once you go over, it's fine. I mean, it's a smartphone.
Well,
I don't know what to do right now. I am in this limbo of to stay with Apple or go with Android, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, I think that Apple made a big mistake in the pricing of the iPad Mini. I think it's priced
very
too high.
high.
It's $130 above everything else that's anywhere close to it.
well,
So and $329 is not like a really pretty price. Doesn't look pretty. $299 would have been really a nice
That's what
price
everybody's
point.
saying. Is $299 would have been better.
but I think too. I mean, for that $130, the capabilities of the iPad Mini is head and shoulders above anything else out there that's $130 cheaper.
Yeah.
As far as the capabilities of it and what you can actually do with it.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's full featured, and a lot of those things that are $130 less, you're not really getting a whole lot as far as the capability goes.
But how many,
relatively speaking?
But how many people use their devices to their full potential anyway? I mean, I know I don't.
That's debatable, Tim. I mean, there's no SD card in there. There's now it's a proprietary charger, the new charger type.
Well, the iPads have always been proprietary. All Apple stuff's been proprietary.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think the Android isn't. It uses the USB Mini. So I'm just saying.
Well, I have the new iPad, and I like it, but I don't know if I would go to an iPad Mini. I mean, my husband's wanting an iPad, and I'm reluctant to spend the $1,000 that he spent on mine. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I love Apple stuff.
I know. And then they have those commercials now. Makes you feel like, hey, Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad are in line.
Oh, the Android commercial, yeah.
Honey, this is the line I stand for to buy the apps, right?
I was
yeah,
like,
Mom.
what? Oh, boy.
Well, any other Applehead comments out there? Anyone?
I'm looking forward to getting a new laptop. The one that we're recording on right now is a MacBook, not the MacBook Pro, but the MacBook. It was like right before they stopped making the MacBooks, and it's very, very heavy. And looking for something.
The innovations that they've made in the size and the speed and everything. I mean, that new, what's it called? The Mac that's just the desktop?
The MacBook Air, or the Mac, or the iMac, or the Mini?
The iMac. The iMac. I mean, it's so thin on the sides. It's incredible. That tiny, all the computer is packed in. It's just amazing.
Well, I like how humble and confused Vito's pretending to be at this moment, because he's thinking about possibly leaving the world of Apple, because when yours truly, Clay, left, I got hate posts on my Facebook. Traitor! I break with thee, and he literally did throw dog poop on my shoes. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm having this internal conflict. It's quite heavy, because I have someone in my ear telling me to switch to the Android platform. So we'll see.
We're getting close to the end of our first half hour. We've only got about a minute of that left. So unless there's anything else about Apple, I just want to thank Brandon again. It's been maybe 10 minutes now, and there's no blood from either Tim's nose nor my nose, and I haven't passed out yet.
Yes. And every now and then I keep glancing down at this damn popsicle stick and just like, oh, fuck.
That was in me. Yeah. That's
oh my God, you guys.
Yeah. So if any listeners end up having their nose hairs waxed, send us your videos. Also, we have
stills of your popsicle sticks.
You have the ability to leave us a voicemail.
That's right. Yeah.
Tweet us.
Website.
You can tweet us. Tweet
and Facebook and all that stuff.
Do bears really twat? Really? Do they?
We do.
Okay. Just
twinge.
Checking.
We twinge.
Alrighty. Hey, Scarlett, you want to go for a walk? Scarlett, you want to go for a walk? Come on.
All right. So this ends the first half of the bearradio.net. But everybody else, just a quick break and we'll be right back. Hey, and we're back. Sorry, Clay.
That's okay, Vito. This is Clay, and I'm back.
This is Vito.
And this is Tim.
And Scarlett's back, but she's on a timeout.
Yes. I gave her treats during the break.
Yeah, for those that are just tuning in through bearradio.net, Wolfgang is out this evening. He did some damage to his leg somehow today and was not able to join us.
So this is 12, part 2.
I personally think he just didn't want to have any of his body parts waxed, and so he made up this whole story, but we'll find out.
Well, that was in part 1. We got waxed, yes.
We'll get to the bottom of it. Yes.
Anyway.
Speaking of bottoms, so tonight is Game 1 of the World Series.
Yes.
Started off here in San Francisco, and at this moment, it's the bottom of the 7th, speaking of bottoms, and the Giants are up 8-1.
Who were you speaking about with bottoms?
Well, it's the bottom of the 7th.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of bottoms.
Oh, okay. Well, it is just Giants pandemonium fever here. I was in a Trader Joe's. I've never heard anything like this in a Trader Joe's before. They were broadcasting the game while I was shopping.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the second time in 3 years, and so they're really they had a sold out season, and they're doing phenomenally well, and went through a lot of adversity to get there. So they're pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And yes, people that have known me for a long time. Yes, I, Clay Hansen, am following sports. You have Bill V need to thank for that. My partner, he's into it. And one of the reasons Scarlett's with us here tonight is that whenever I come home and Bill's been watching football or baseball on the TV, I find Scarlett in the hall closet in her crate.
Because Bill's been screaming.
He gets so loud, and she's just like, I'm just going to go chew on a bone.
I'm scared.
Yeah. Or an elk antler in the closet. Yeah. So.
And people are definitely fired up this evening. I'm sure Bill will be too.
We're up here in the Castro, and we hear screams.
Yeah. After which I'm assuming is after every home run, probably they're showing it next door over at the sausage factory.
I think they got a goal.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, Panda's had 2 home runs. He had a single home run in the first inning, and then he had another home run early on in the game. So he's having a great World Series.
Did we identify ourselves?
We did.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Vito.
You're Vito.
Right.
That's Tim.
You're Clay.
And I'm Clay.
Okay.
That's Scarlett.
Okay.
And I'm the old one. I'm the old one. Scarlett, introduce yourself. Good girl.
Oh,
okay, now go lay down.
Good girl.
Go lay down. Sneaky. Get back on your bed.
Subjugation.
Ooh, she's defiant.
Willful puppy.
So a friend of mine on Facebook posted some pretty disturbing tweets after the Giants won the NLCS, the National League Champions Series.
To clarify, they were not
retweeted
his tweets.
Right. Well, he replied to some of the tweets, but these are from St. Louis fans. They were upset because the San Francisco Giants beat their team.
And this is just from individuals. We don't know where they're from.
Well, they actually...
Maybe they're from St. Louis.
We can go ahead and post the article on our website, and you can see their handles. And so if you want to tweet back to them, feel free.
Oh, okay.
One person put Giant Stadium is loud, but the clapping noise you hear in the stands is actually from all of those fags in San Francisco jerking each other off.
Woof.
Yeah, and then
I don't see too much wrong with that, but no, it's inappropriate. Yes.
And then the next one, and to celebrate their win, the San Francisco players and coaching staff will be heading to the bathhouses to start another AIDS epidemic.
I find that highly distasteful.
Yes, that is.
Not to mention wildly inaccurate, since AIDS didn't really start here, but that's fine. Fox showed things San Francisco is famous for, but they forgot the most important thing: AIDS. Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, still not appropriate.
Mm-hmm. And actually, a very small percentage of the population is gay here, I've figured out.
San Francisco has so many fags that the Giants' PA announcer is a chick. Nice.
Wow.
A little sexism thrown in with your homophobia. They're getting loud at Homo Stadium in San Fran. They have the cards messed up. Queers going wild. We could sell videos.
Queers gone wild.
They win, they get it up the ass. They lose, they get it up the ass.
That was one of the tweets?
That's a tweet.
I think I've heard enough.
I get it.
It gets worse. Yeah. So we'll post the article and you can see. But
wow.
What I love, typical San Francisco style, is that the local paper put their handles on there. Feel free. Feel free to respond. Margaret Cho did that. She got some hate stuff on her website, and her webmaster posted it all on the website. All the hateful email, including their the people's email addresses, and some of them were stupid enough to use their work email addresses. And they got calls begging, please, I'm going to get fired, because their work servers were crashing from all the people responding to the hate mail.
Oh my God!
They sent to Ms. Margaret Cho. Thank you. You're one of my idols. Ms. Margaret Cho.
Actually, that reminds me of something. A few weeks back, there was this guy. You guys are familiar with Reddit.com?
Oh yeah.
On Reddit.com, there was this guy on there who was just a well-known troll on the site. Just on there just to stir shit up and cause trouble. And a guy actually went in, found out who he was, and made it public who he was, and the guy ended up getting fired over it.
Wow.
Well, I think the lesson in all this is that in our modern world, I think you have less and less of an expectation of privacy. And I think that probably in our lifetime, though, the concept of privacy will probably be nil. I mean, because everything's out there. There's video cameras everywhere. I mean, everything you do is tracked. Mm-hmm. And if you're stupid enough to tweet bullshit like that and I don't think you can anonymously tweet, right?
Right.
So,
I didn't tell you guys, but I went and I found a legal disclaimer for us just to cover our asses, and I put it on the website just in case. Everything we do is parody, by the way. Okay.
Allegedly.
You got that story?
Allegedly.
Parody for comedy.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We're covered by the parody law.
Parody. Even if you're not into sports, you can't escape the impact of it in a city like San Francisco. I mean, I lived here when they were talking about building the new stadium downtown, and I thought it was ridiculous. How are people going to get there? There's no parking, blah, 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 blah. And it's fantastic. It's a great place to walk. There's actually an area where if you're just walking by on the waterfront, you can go and you can watch up to 3 innings through the bars right there at field level. And that's a very popular thing to do for people that can't afford the tickets. And it just brought such a dynamic part of downtown San Francisco. So now I'm really excited.
But the AT&T Park?
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great park.
We'll go down there one night during the World Series and walk by the stadium. It's insane. There's a whole life around it. You can't tailgate, but the people are just out walking around.
You had mentioned about tickets, and I saw on the news last night that a lot of the parking garages around there, they were interviewing a guy that worked there, and they were saying that tonight for the game, they were planning on charging anywhere from like $100 to $160 to park your car there during the game.
Yeah.
And at that point, and they even brought it up, it's like you're better off parking someplace where you're going to get a ticket because that's going to be cheaper.
They're talking about now putting in a waterfront coliseum for the basketball team. I think the Warriors. I think that's who they are. So that's great. It would be wonderful to have that kind of presence.
It is a sports town. I'll tell you that. and it's a sports town. I talked to somebody on Growler and told him about the podcast from Germany, and he asked, so do you guys talk a lot about San Francisco things, issues? And I said, we talk about a variety of issues. So anyway, I don't know why I needed to share that.
That's
no, we don't talk about. No, we talk about politics and the election and how shitty Mitt Romney is. That's all we talk about.
Yeah,
which is funny because that's what we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a candidate that has binders full of women. His foreign policy knowledge is such that we all learn that Syria is Iran's gateway to the sea. Which is really cool. That's awesome. And then who posted this?
Iran is stoked.
The Salt Lake City Tribune endorsed Obama.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
And I have a buddy who went back and forth with some card-carrying Republican gay people that I know. Of course, they just dismissed it.
The fact that Salt Lake Tribune would endorse Obama?
Yeah.
Well, which is really sort of weird. I mean, the fact that a Mormon-run newspaper would endorse somebody who is non-Mormon over a Mormon.
Well, I'm not clear on that. Are you sure that's a Mormon newspaper?
It's Mormon-owned, yeah.
It is? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and citing specifically that, they have no idea what his actual views are and what they're actually going to get should he be elected president. I mean, that's the whole thing. Nobody can trust anything that comes out of his mouth.
But you can. I saw on the Daily Show, Romney. What do you think? That's what Romney thinks. What do you want Romney to say? He's going to say that.
Well, one of Bill Maher's tweets during the debate on Monday night was, Mitt Romney's strategy. Exactly what he said, but from a white guy.
But that's not true. They'll gut everything they possibly can.
Well, speaking of the race card, former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin released a statement on her Facebook page accusing President Obama of engaging in, quote, shuck and jive shtick, close quote, regarding last month's attack in Benghazi, Libya.
What, huh?
Yeah. And for those who aren't familiar with the phrase shuck and jive, it's a racially tinged expression. According to the user-submitted Urban Dictionary, the term originally referred to the intentionally misleading words and actions that African Americans would employ in order to deceive racist Euro-Americans in power, both during the slavery and afterwards. And they made a very weak attempt to say, "Oh no, it wasn't racist," but as someone pointed out, that it's never been used in reference to anybody white. So that was pretty powerful, coming from Palin. And I guess earlier in the week,
how the hell did she come up with that? That phrase hasn't been used in 30 years.
It still pops up every now and then. I mean, I'm familiar with the phrase.
I'm familiar with it too, but it's not used in normal speaking.
And Clay, I need to disagree with you classifying that as powerful. Coming from her, it's like nothing she says has any power, I think, anymore.
Well, I would agree with you that she's sort of an afterthought, and her 15 minutes have passed.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason that she's making any news at all is because she's saying something so egregious that it almost can't be ignored.
Right.
And so that's what I meant by that. No, I don't think her words have any weight. I don't think they're going to influence anybody other than just to, like this other cunt, Ann Coulter, earlier.
Oh, come on. Tell us how you really feel.
Well,
oh my God.
Earlier in the week, she called the president a retard following his Florida debate with GOP challenger Mitt Romney. So an athlete with Down syndrome wrote an open letter to Coulter in response. "Come on, Miss Coulter," he wrote. "Aren't you dumb and aren't you shallow? So why are you continually using the R word as an insult?"
Right. Actually, yeah, I read that too. It was really great. It was really well written, and I think actually probably blew through a lot of stereotypes because for how it was written very articulately, and probably the majority of people out there that have no experience with anybody with Down syndrome or anything would be truly amazed of how at how well thought out that letter was.
Well, and what I think a lot of people don't realize is that there's a whole range. I mean, Down syndrome can be very mild and it can be very severe, and there are a lot of areas in the middle. And just because someone has the physical attributes doesn't necessarily mean that their mental attributes correspond to what they look like, much like the rest of humanity. And so it's hopefully these dumb shits will realize that their words have power and not in a good way. And that we'll stop using pejorative words like retard and,
gay.
Yeah, that's so gay. And, and trying to say, oh, I wasn't being racist when I said the president was shucking and jiving. Well, you wouldn't have said that about Jimmy Carter. You wouldn't have said that about Ronald Reagan. Let's see. What's the difference between them and our President Obama?
It was just overtly racist. Oh. Just overt. Well, they don't have any qualms about being completely overt about racism.
And full of hate, too. It's appalling. Speaking of pictures on Facebook, my same friend that posted all that about the hateful tweets from St. Louis after the game earlier this week posted a picture where they have our president's effigy being hung in a display near the North Carolina State Fair. And
was it actually him or an empty chair?
It's a dummy that has an Obama mask on, and it was so offensive. It was a CNN iReport, and it was so offensive that CNN pulled it. You can't see it anymore on CNN.
Wait, CNN pulled a news story because it was so offensive?
Well, the photo, yeah, the iReport. Because iReports are where people just send things in. They take a picture or a video clip. You can send it in as an iReporter. Like you're just a Joe on the street, and that's what somebody did. And then when you go to that website now, they pulled it.
So the story's still there, but they pulled the photo?
I'm not sure if I agree with them pulling the photo. I mean, if it's something that's out there, it's newsworthy. And, I mean, that's iReport, weird.
This is what they posted. This iReport has been removed because it was flagged by the community and found to be in violation of the iReport community guidelines and terms of use.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so we can put a link to that so people can read about it if they haven't already seen it. But because they have some bullshit about, this refers to something completely different. Well, then why did you put Obama's face on it? So it's just blatant, offensive racism, ignorance, and it's tremendously difficult to swallow, frankly.
I'm going to be glad when this election cycle's over. Actually, our next recording is the night after the election, so either we'll all be in really good moods.
We better be in a good mood.
Really bad moods.
Or I think I might move to Saudi Arabia.
Because that's a step up.
Right. Uh-huh.
Well, Canada or Saudi Arabia or Dubai. So I'm thinking Dubai. Yeah, I know it's I know what you're saying. Good point.
Yeah,
good point.
Saudi Arabia, Dubai, neither of those are a step up as far as
but
freedom to be yourself.
You can make a lot of money and come back when the Democrats take office again.
Just know this, that in Dubai they have a debtor's prison. So if you don't make a lot of money and you go into debt, they can throw you in jail.
Wow. Yeah. Also, if even straight couples, if you kiss on the beach, you can be jailed.
We've seen Sex and the City 3, we know.
Oh.
Actually, I haven't, but
neither have I.
Scarlet, kill. She's too busy begging for treats. Well, any other political nonsense or bullshit to talk about? I know that the electoral college situation keeps changing.
Yeah, that's going to continue to change. I know some of the major networks have actually narrowed down their what they're still considering swing states. So it's things are coming down to the wire.
Well, there was a 100-point lead by Obama on the Electoral College, and after the first of 8, Obama lost like almost 100 points, and he's only gained a little bit back. There's still about a 45 point difference, but it's not. After that first debate, there was a big change.
One thing that I actually saw there that was really disappointing, a couple of weeks ago, there was a report that in Arizona, some of the voter pamphlets that had gone out had it was in English and in Spanish. And for everything happening in English, it said that the voter date was on, what is it? Is it the 6th?
November 6th, right? Tuesday, the first Tuesday of... Isn't it the first
Why am I
Tuesday of the
drawing
month?
complete blank? Yeah, the first Tuesday of the month. So everything, the English stuff said
the
that
6th, yeah.
that it was happening on the 6th. The stuff in Spanish said it was happening on the 8th.
Oh, well, I know
so
that
there was
Karl
that
Rove
went out.
and his cronies have been trying to trip up voting no matter what it takes.
That went out. There was a big deal made about it. They said, oh, sorry, it was a mistake. It was an oversight, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't anything intentional. But then there was another thing that went out this week or late last week that still had it wrong. So the amount of stuff that's happening out there that leads to confusion and will ultimately mean to less people voting.
That's what they want.
It's unconscionable.
That's what they want.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. But at the end of the day, you and I and all the individuals in this country are responsible for our own rights and responsibilities. And if you don't know what election day is, I'm sorry. There's something wrong. There's too many. I mean, yes, that's bullshit, and it should be right, and people should be able to rely on what comes to them. But you can't just. That's my point. You can't just rely on some pamphlet. You need to open your mind and your ears and pay attention to what's going on around you. There's more resources available to you than just some stupid voter pamphlet.
True, but a lot of people, that's all they get. And what they're being mailed to them as official information from their local government,
No, you're right. It
should be accurate.
absolutely. But, the first person that comes on TV and says, "Oh, I didn't know when election day was," and be like, "Well, you're kind of a loser." So,
Yeah, it's informed. We need to be informed. Like I voted today. Actually,
Yeah, I
did the absentee ballot.
Mailed mine in too.
I have-
What about you, Clay?
I have mine at home. I'm still waffling on a couple of ballot measures.
Uh-huh.
So,
I usually go to the Democratic Club and print their recommendations, and then do my own research, and then ask friends that maybe aren't working, that have a little bit more time, who've done a little bit more research.
Actually, I'm sorry, I'll let you finish.
Go ahead.
A really great resource is smartvoter. I can't remember if it's .com or .org, but it can give you links to all your local and state
how am I
measures.
supposed to find Smart Voter if you don't know if it's a .com or a .org? Oh my God. I'm lost.
But it gives links to everything, and also for all the information that it pulls up for the different measures and like that for local and state. It'll give you a comprehensive list of what organizations have endorsed different measures, and gives you arguments for and against and blah blah blah. So it's a really great resource.
That's great. Yeah, as long as it's not a one-stop shop. I mean, I look at all the Democratic clubs, and I look at the Democratic Party, and I talk like you do. I talk to folks, and it was cute when Bill was doing his ballot. I think it was last night. He's like, "What are you voting on this? What are you voting on that?" I'm like, "Honey, you have to make up your own mind on these things." And he wasn't asking just so he could fill it out based on what I said, but it was cute the way it came across.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what should I do? Kind of vote your conscience.
These measures, it's like, anyway.
It was a lot. It was a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Who knows? It's come to the point now that when I see a commercial on the TV, and I see that commercial over and over again, and if it's produced very slickly, is that a word?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. It is now.
That I can, it's like, that means they have a lot of money that's probably backed by the corporate people no matter what they say. So it's probably bad.
Right.
It's come to that point. It's, it was probably done by a super PAC and gave them a bunch of money, and so whoever doesn't have the commercial on is probably the good guy.
Well, on that lighthearted note, let's change topics and let's leave the world
it was a little dark.
dark and lost. Let's leave politics behind and let's talk about funny stuff. Did anybody have any funny stories they want to share? Like when they first moved to the Bay Area or something?
Well, that wasn't set up or anything. So, yeah, I've actually got a story.
Who are you?
Wanted to share. This is Tim.
Hi, Tim.
So this is a bit of a case of mistaken identity. I moved to the Bay Area in 1996. I had first started out detailing cars and stuff like that at a thrifty car rental in Hayward. So they'd actually sell cars, and so during the week I would, detail cars and stuff like that are going out for sale. And on the weekends, I was one of the guys, actually the only guy there that would drive a shuttle around and pick up people that were renting cars. So I went to go pick up this woman. I had the address and everything, was driving over there. And when I'm pulling up catty corner to her house, kitty corner, whatever, she's standing there in the corner. She waves me down. She gets in the car, and I look. Vito's rubbing my thigh.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like she like totally hit on you.
So she gets in the car, and I ask her, "So, what's the best way out of here?" I go, "Oh, just drive up here. It's a little ways. I'll tell you where to go." And so I look over at her, and she's a little haggard, and she looks like she might have been doing some coke. And she has sort of this shitty faux patent leather jacket on and patent leather skirt, and I'm just, okay. So I'm driving, and she looks over at me, and she goes, "So do you want a date?" I was like,
that's code word.
I was like, "What? Do you want a date?"
That's a code word for
shut up.
Sex, right?
So, whose story is this? Vito? Shut up.
What do you mean? Goes, "Oh, you fucked me for $20?" And I was like, oh, no thanks, not into it. And so what's going through my mind is like, okay, she's a fucking whore, but I'm just going to do my job. I'm going to bring her back to the office and whatever. So about this time, I get a call over the CB. This, like I said, this is 1996, before cell phones and everything, and I'm 21, kind of naive. But Janine, who's back at the office, calls over the CB and says, "Tim, I don't know who that woman is that you just picked up, but the woman you were supposed to pick up is sitting on her front porch. She's waiting for you."
Oh, that is priceless.
So I slam on the brakes. I look over this woman, "Get the fuck out of my van." And so I go back and pick up the woman, and she says, "I don't know what happened, but you need to tell me that whole story."
That is hysterical.
So, yeah, that was my story of, I guess, kind of my
initiation. Picked up a prostitute.
Yes, I did. I picked up a prostitute.
All right. This isn't my story. It's one of my roommates from college, but I've heard it so many times and I've shared it so many times. I feel like it's mine, and it's in a similar vein. We worked at Macy's in the shoe department, and meet all kinds of crazy people looking for shoes in the shoe department. You get politicians' wives that are trying to return shoes that you saw them in a press conference in the night before, and they swore they'd never been worn. They still have the price tags on them, but the soles are scuffed, and just, and you hear all kinds of things, and you just eventually sort of become numb to it, and you just smile, and it's Macy's. The markup is high enough where, okay, whatever. So a coworker of mine, someone comes in, and this lady comes in, and she's looking for shoes, and she's like, "Well, tell me what you do. Tell me, what do you need the shoes for? Is this for a party? Is this for work?" She's like, "Oh, it's for work." She goes, "I'm on my feet all day long, and I just need something that's comfortable, but it has to be stylish. I mean, I'm a streetwalker, and so, I can't, I don't want to skimp, but, I got to be able to work in these too, right?" And she's like, "Oh, okay. What's your size?" So she goes in the back to get some shoes, and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe this. This woman just told me she's a streetwalker. What am I going to do?" And our boss is like, "Sell her some shoes." That's what we do. She's like, "Pull yourself together, girl. Get out there." So she comes out with some shoes, and she's helping the customer, and so now everybody is interested in what's going on, so we're all faking reasons to come out on that part of the sales floor and everything like that. And so the woman's trying on these shoes, and she's standing in front of the mirror, and she's like, I don't know. She goes, what do you think?" And then my coworker's like, "Well, I'm sure lots of prostitutes wear shoes like that." And the customer's like, "What? Why would you say that to me? Oh, how dare you? That's so rude. Who's your manager?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm sorry. You told me that you were a streetwalker." I said I was a state worker.
Oh, never mind.
That's the horse of another color.
I have prostitute stories too.
Walked into the back room, and the manager took over and said, "How may I be of assistance today?" I said I was a state worker.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. What's your hooker story, Vito?
My two hooker stories real quick. The first one, just living in San Francisco, I lived by prostitutes all the time.
In the popo.
But you could never tell if they were male or female. So I learned not to look at them or talk to them, because they try to start conversations with me. But then when I was a kid, we were in L.A., and we were going down Sunset Boulevard. It's so cleaned up now compared to what it was. But on the way to a function at Dodger Stadium in the band, we counted over 100 prostitutes on Sunset Boulevard.
That all?
I mean, it was incredible, the amount.
This is cleaned up?
No, this is before the cleanup.
Okay.
Sorry, did I say that wrong?
Yeah, you
before
said
the cleanup.
Misheard it.
So this was in 1979, 1980. We counted over 100 prostitutes on Sunset Boulevard. I just thought that was incredible.
Bum.
When I first moved to the city, I lived in the Polk area too, and I thought it was funny when I'd walk out of my apartment building near the corner of Polk and Geary, and people would look at me trying to assess, is he a John or a pro? John or pro?
Pro? What's pro?
Professional.
Like you were a prostitute?
Yeah. I mean, I lived
Were you wearing like a tight miniskirt or what's going on?
Oh, come on. That isn't outside of the realm of possibility.
This is the Polk, so some of the prostitutes aren't women or boys dressed as girls. They're also...
I never saw a guy prostitute. But this is years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They're still there.
Really?
Plying the bars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old were you?
I was in my early 30s, but I've been told I never actually looked my age, so...
Send in your male prostitute stories to... Or if you're in the San Francisco area and you are a male prostitute, we'd love to talk to you. Make a great guest.
We love the prostitutes.
My mother's a prostitute. My grandmother's a prostitute.
I don't think
No,
so.
really. Some of my best friends are prostitutes.
Well, there's always you cross that line. I mean, if you took a $10 or a dinner or had dinner and had sex afterward, does that make you a prostitute? So,
just cheap.
Well, we're definitely sluts, right? If you don't take money for sex, you're a slut, right?
I've always maintained that if I charged fair market value, really, who could afford it? I'm forced to give it away.
There you go. There you go.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right.
All right. Well, boy, what a lovely set of topics we've had tonight.
Yes, very
we talked
interesting.
about anal bleaching. We talked about...
That was in episode 1.
A couple of cunts, Palin and Coulter.
Yeah.
Well,
where are we with the
to take a
game?
shower.
What's going on with the game?
Oh, well, let's check that. And while I'm checking that, I'll do my back scratches with the game. Why don't we start back scratches? Vito, you're up.
Okay, I need my phone. Hold on.
Well, your phone's with you, dude. All right, well, let's skip Vito and go right to Tim. Tim.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, final 8-3. The Tigers came back and got 2 hits in the 9th inning, but then only netted them a total of 3. The San Francisco Giants beat the unbeatable Verlander pitching for the Detroit Tigers.
It's game 1 of 3?
Woo. Well, it's the best of 7.
Best of 7. Okay.
Yes. So they'll be here tomorrow, and then they
You can tell that I'm not big sports.
and then they head off to Detroit. So if the Giants were to sweep it, they would finish in Detroit. But if Detroit wins at least 1, then they'll be coming back here.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
And that is
So,
your San Francisco
Vito, I'm going to do my back
Giants.
scratches. What'd you say, Tim?
And I said, and that is your San Francisco Giants.
Awesome. Well, this is Vito, my back scratches. I want to back scratch Clay, Tim, and Wulf.
Oh.
I don't think I do that often enough. Thanks. I have a great time on the podcast. And congrats to Tim on the new gig.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Hopefully it's not going to involve any changes with the podcast, but we'll see what the future holds.
Yes, indeed. And I'd like to back scratch Dan Connery. He used our send voicemail on the site and left a voicemail for us. I'll go ahead and play it real quick here. Right now.
Hey, this is Dan Connery, and I've commented before, but I just wanted to tell you all that I really enjoyed the show and that it's always very informative and very funny. So keep up the good work. Have a good one. Bye.
Okay. Go ahead, Tim.
All right. To all the guys, Wulf, Clay, Vito, also need to back scratch Scarlett, who's scampering around on a plastic chair, and also to Brandon for being here with us tonight from 360 Skin.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I forgot to back scratch Brandon.
Yes.
Well, that goes without saying. Brandon was awesome. He was a really good sport. He was in our Lost podcast. And so, Scarlett, would you like to give a backstory?
Hey, I wasn't done.
Oh. All right. Shh. Let Tim pretend to finish. Let Tim pretend to finish.
All right. Also, Backscratches out to James, Andrews, Dave, Mike, and Steve, and everybody at my new job, and anybody that I'm forgetting. Love you all. Bye.
My dog's licking my face. This is Clay. And Scarlett, the wonder dog, who's here avoiding the crazy Italian screaming and yelling at home, going, hit the ball, catch it, now he was out, and other craziness. And I feel like my nose is as clean as it ever has been. And that was pretty interesting. So, yeah, if you're in the San Francisco area and you want to take advantage of the discount that Brandon offered, check out 360skin.com. And if there's nothing else, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Take care, all.
Visit us at bearelement.com.